my name is Shay, and this is my first Flosstube. I'm Salty Stitcher here on YouTube. Been lurking a little bit on Flosstube. I think I started watching Flosstubes after I kind of like stumbled on them when I was looking for some sort of tutorial, I'm sure, something like that. Started watching Cross Stitch the Globe, who they're hysterical. I really love them. They're super sweet. They have lots of good information, and their like most expensive kits and patterns videos were really fun. Fun fact: since watching that, I now realize that I probably had an original Thomas Kincaid Disney kit 15 years ago when I stitched it. Never finished it. Have no idea where it is. First thing I ever put on a scroll frame as well. If I ever find it, I will give away the pattern if it's not in trashed condition. But a little bit about me. Name Shay again. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I'm a therapist, and I'm a monogamish stitcher, if you want to say it that way. I tend to have a lot of sals going at any one point in time. I'm a bit of a sals whore. I have quite a few of those, and you'll see them in a little bit. But I tend to only have like one project that's not a sal at any one point in time. Right now I have two, and I'll explain why in a second. But I tend to be a monogamish, so I just like stitch on the regular pattern while I'm done with it, like when I'm caught up with sals. But this is the most sals I've ever had. There was a lot of really good sal releases this last couple months, and so I may have overextended myself, but we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out together. I stitch in hand, generally speaking. Like when I was a kid, because I've been stitching for a long time. When I was a kid, I always used hoops. I've tried every type of hoop as far as I know, except for like some of the fancier like clovers or nerd hoops. Not tried any of the vintage ones, obviously, just because those are expensive. But I tend to stitch in hand now. I've been stitching in hand for a couple years, and I just find that I'm a shit ton faster, and I don't know, I just like it. I don't have as many aches and pains when I'm doing that. Don't know what's on my shirt. Thread. That tracks. I find that I'm faster and it's more comfortable, and I can do it for longer. My stitches are about the same in terms of neatness. I'm not the neatest. Yeah, I'm not that bad. I'll say this. I'm much neater than I was in the past. I've been stitching for about 20 years. Started with kits when I was a kid. I think my first kit was like some sort of like coyote and cactus Christmas thing. Back when I was probably like south of 10, probably. What do I mean, south of 10? I was probably younger than 10, probably like 8 or 9. So I've been stitching for at least 20 years now, if not a bit longer than that. Started with kits, moved on to, I became an avid buyer of Cross Stitcher back when you could still buy the physical magazine in like Michael's and Joann's. So I have a pile of them somewhere, a box of old Cross Stitcher magazines. For those of you who don't know, Cross Stitcher is a UK cross stitching magazine. I'm now a digital subscriber, have been for 5-6 years now. I like them a lot. They tend to be a little bit more modern, which I like, and I like a lot of the typography stuff. Like Stitcherovia typography patterns are fun. And now I'm a much more of a digital pattern person. I do a lot of stitch alongs, like I said. But I'll stitch just about anything. However, having since started watching Flosstubes, I've now realized that there's just a lot of stuff I haven't really been exposed to, and I think it's just because I was a like big box craft store kind of person for a long time, because that's what I had access to. And so I've just been kind of gradually exposing myself to fun stuff, and some of these like traditional cross stitch patterns and stuff that I would have kind of brushed off as too old fashioned, but now I realize that there's some ways to make it me, and I can dig that. So yeah, that's about me. Again, I'm a sal whore, but I do tend to be monogamous besides that. Some favorite YouTubers that I've been watching recently, Flosstubers I've been watching recently. I mentioned Cross Stitch the Globe. They're the first ones that I kind of watched a lot of. I like that they have such different tastes, and I really dig that. From their recommendation, I've started watching Floss Bossing Cousins by the way War Eagle. I went to Auburn in Alabama, so I'm a War Eagle fan. I'm an Auburn fan, and so I was excited to see that they were. I was like, these are my people. Now that I've seen them, now that I know this about them, they're my people for sure. And I tend to and this isn't just for YouTube, but my general pattern of viewing things is I watch all of one thing and then I move on and I watch something else, and I just keep doing it that way. So once I'm done with Floss Bossing Cousins, I think I'm gonna do Stitchy Friends. I've also watched Crafty Gamer Jamie. I just looked it up so I could remember. Crafty Gaming Jamie, which is hard for me to say. So I'll be watching some of hers too. I like that she uses does a lot of Witchy Stitcher patterns, and I really like Witchy Stitcher patterns, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But yeah, those are some of the things, some of the Flosstubes that I've been into. I've also watched a lot of the Fat Quarter Shop ones. I like them a lot too. They're just good informational ones. But yeah, was really excited to see that there's this community that I really didn't know I had existed. And that they like some of the stuff I like too. So I'm planning on doing some of these videos. I'm also planning on doing kind of like first videos where I talk about or show how I've learned how to do something, even if I've already learned it. How have I learned to do it? What can I do to kind of improve it? Also, sometimes it will be the first time I've done a certain thing. Like I'll have one on the first time I've started a First time I started a Mirabilia. There we go. But I'll talk some more about that later, I guess. So we'll start with a whip parade, because first Flosstube, so there's not really any progress, but I can start here. We'll start here. I only have 2 of these so far. These are both from Golden Familiars. I'll try to remember to show you the pattern on the inside of it, because it was like cryptid floral and it's super cute. But I'm also planning on making my own as well, because I have a crap ton of fabric over there. Because I like some of the stitching folder versions, but those tend to be a bit more expensive than I'm willing to spend for and needing for a lot of things. So I'm also planning on making myself a stitch retreat mat, so more on that later. This is my Mirabilia. So this is the first Mirabilia I've ever shown. The picture for this pattern is downstairs in my purse because I had taken it to get it scanned. We'll talk some more about that when I do a video on this. This is Cathedral Woods Goddess. I won't show you obviously all of the pattern, but this is Cathedral Woods Goddess, which there she is. There's the name. I'm very excited. So I was hesitant to start Mirabilias for a lot of different reasons. One, they're expensive, and paper patterns are not my thing now. I tend to stitch off an iPad because it's a lot easier. So we'll talk about like having to go get it scanned so I could use it. Also, they're just a little sweet and a little old-fashioned. You'll get to know me. I'm not particularly sweet. I'm covered in tattoos. I have green hair, and I'm not really the type of person that Nora would put on a Mirabilia pattern, right? Or make a Mirabilia pattern out of. I agree with Stephanie from Cross Stitching the Globe when she talks about how they're not very size inclusive. Mirabilias, and so that was a big issue. Like, they're all white, they're all skinny, and they're all very like refined and elegant. So not super relatable, but this one is a bit more pagan-y. She's got antlers. If you've never seen this pattern, I'll put a picture up of it. I saw Stephanie from Cross Stitching the Globe start hers. Her fabric as well is absolutely lovely. And so that's why I decided to try this one, that this would be the first Mirabilia I did. I'm not Christian, so I like that she's a bit more pagan-y. Not quite so like conservative, I guess, if that's the word I was going to use for that. Yeah, I just like her. I think she's cool. I am putting her on... Don't do that. Sorry, I have a needle in here because I was working on her yesterday. Let me put her needle in here so I don't have to find it again. Okay, there we go. So this is 32 count Velt by Picture This Plus. It is beautiful, like tanny green. I also have this in 36 count because I was originally going to do her in 36 to make her a little bit smaller, but I was watching a video, and I'll talk some more about this when I do the video on it, about how it sometimes is really difficult to get the beads wouldn't lay very well. They would overlap over stitches because of the size, right? And since fancy fabrics or over-dyed fabrics do tend to be, rather hand-dyed fabrics, not over-dyed, do tend to be tighter in weave, like the holes get smaller when you dye it. I decided to go ahead and go for the 32 just so I would have a little bit more room, which I think it'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it overlapping a little bit. I just didn't want it to be super messy. Another reason why I was super interested at all in doing Mirabilia is also because it's challenging. It's got some stuff I've never done before. For instance, I've never done Krennic or Karen water lilies. I've never done silk. Again, when you're a broke college student, like you're not buying silk for cross stitching. I'm doing, splurging on pattern, like on kits really. And I've never done this amount of beading. I've done beading before, but I picked pretty big beads, I think, because I was a cross stitcher pattern, I think, and it was calling for mill hills, but I didn't have a place to get mill hills, and I didn't think about 1 2 3 stitch, even though I had actually ordered from 1 2 3 stitch before, well in the past. Anyways, I didn't have it, so the beads don't look very good on it. If I find it, I'll show it to you guys. So I'm excited to see what beading with real beads is gonna, or real mill hill beads is gonna feel like. She's also got really pretty colors. She's got these like kind of deserty, they're not really desert, foresty kind of colors, so I'm really excited about that. That's my Mirabilia start for Mirabilia May. I probably put in 200 stitches in her or something like that. I'll do some more tomorrow is my plan. Go back in your bag, lady. No, don't do that. Sorry. I talk to inanimate objects. It's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell you. There we go. Then I have, let's do my other knot sal before I get started on this one. I think it's this guy. So this is my other, again, I'm sort of monogamous, right, when it comes to stitching. And so I tend to only have one knot sal project going. But because of Mirabilia May, I wanted to start that. So this is my only other knot sal work right now. It's the back. It's the only time you ever see the back. I'm not big on showing you guys my back because I really don't think it matters that much. But this is Barbie's Haunted Mansion, or Haunted Mansion, I believe, by TJ Designs on Etsy, and it's nowhere near done. I'm probably halfway done tops. I can look it up later in markup, but I'm halfway done tops with black. So this will get done sometime in the future. She's got a really kind of cool, dreamy, pinky yellow palette, but it's really pretty, and it's on Whimsy by, I have to look it up, 16 count Whimsy by Picture This Plus, perhaps. It's beautiful. It's a really pretty, like, pinky purple with some very subtle modeling. That's my only other non-sal project in this current moment, at this current time. So sals then. I have a shit ton of them. This is the most sals I've ever had. I'm used to keeping a couple sals going at a time, but this is ridiculous. We'll start with this one. It's not quite caught up because she released a new one, or the company released it, the designer rather, released a new one like yesterday. So I'm not quite done, but this is Femurs and Fungi, or Fungi and Femurs, Femurs and Fungi, by Fine Frog Stitching. I love it. This fabric is beautiful. This fabric is by Witch's Garden Crafts. It's the one that was created for it. I don't remember what the name of it was, though. I just love it. I think it's beautiful. So this is technically the called for. Nothing has been changed for this one, and I just have to keep, like, going. So it's not a very big part. It's just this, like, shelf down here she's released the one for this shelf down here, I think. Oh, it just looks backwards. Huh. So once I get that done, which I should get it done today or tomorrow, that will be caught up. I try to keep caught up because it gets overwhelming when you don't. Femurs flowers and fungi. This is one of my blackwork samplers, so I'll actually show those all at the same time. I'm just doing my cross stitch sample, or not samplers, stitch alongs. This is not caught up, but I'm not actually behind yet either. This is Lola Crow's Deadly Aquarium. This is on the called for linen, which is actually a Weeks Dye Works linen. I have since found out that there's some tone deafness afoot in the Weeks Dye Works world, but it was the first fancy fabric I'd ever bought, as far as I know. Like not just buying Zweigart or something like that. I tend to like Zweigart generally. I don't tend to buy a lot of Witchel, but so it was the first time I've ever bought it, and it's the called for, and so I just went ahead and went with it. I've, again, since found out that Weeks Dye Works is a little tone deaf, but I gotta keep up on that. I'm almost done with the black. I'm probably 100, 200 stitches away from getting done with the black, and then it's just the other colors, which in a normal pattern, a normal stitch along frame, that would be, most of it would be black, but this isn't, so it'll be what it is. I just want to get it done before she releases the first fill. This is also fun. This one's caught up. This is by Noctiflora Designs. This is her Vampirum Sal, which is adorable. If you could see my little batlings, and I love the font on this. This is Witch's Garden Crafts fabric. This is Batavia. I want to say this is 16 count probably. This is what was created, one of the two colors that was created for this cell, or suggested for this cell. It's beautiful. I love Witch's Gardens Crafts. They're one of my favorite like online fabric sellers, like dyers, and yeah, she's also super sweet. The actual owner is really nice. I've talked to her on Etsy a couple different times. But that's all caught up. We just gotta wait until the next one is completed. So I suppose it's a finished for now. Really, the only one that I'm not caught up on, or not close to catching up on, is Deadly Aquarium by Did I even say that? It's Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow Stitch, if I didn't say it. I love Lola Crow. I've done one set of her Christmas, like creepy Christmas ornaments. I love it. So the rest of these are all blackwork sample stitch alongs, right? So this one, there's going to be a running theme for a couple of these in just a second. This is from Urban Stitches. This is her Moonlit Market Sal. I love it. I'm all caught up. I just finished the most recent release today, which is this guy right here, which I don't know what it is. Some of them I don't know what it is. I have to go and read the thing. Sometimes it's a little bit different. Like for instance, this little frog. It's just called Frog's Breath, and it's cute. I might do that for like a little or something. I can blow it up a bit bigger. So the reason why I laughed is because I actually have two of these sals started. Because when I've done blackwork for a while, but blackwork on linen is really difficult and doesn't always look very neat. And so I started it on linen and didn't quite like the way the cross hatching in the frame looked. And so, but I'm not going to throw it away because I just did all this work. And so there's two colorways that are listed in the instructions. And so this is like the candy colors or like the brights. And then this guy, which is on Fiddler's Cloth, is like darker hues and darker colors, right? And so also, yes, you're gonna see that I use painter's tape on a lot of things. I know it is not the done thing, but to be completely honest with you, I am way too lazy to hand stitch around this, and I'm also way too lazy to go and get the sewing machine out. I have a little mini sewing machine now, so we'll see if I start using that a bit more. But this is like a darker kind of like rubies, jewel tones. That's what I'm talking about. Jewel tone colors. So I have two of these. I also have two of the next one I'm about to show you for similar reasons. So I started on, this is like Cashel linen, I think. Cashel linen from Zweigart. But like the linen, love Zweigart linen, but not the option for black work, just because the stitches look a little bit messy because you have to be really careful with your tension. So Urban Stitches, Moonlit Market, and then this is Steady Threads like year-long Facebook stitch along. So she always released, as far as I know, she's always released these like year-long stitch alongs. This year's is on florals. It's florals. So there's this guy, which is the framed version of it. This is also on Zweigart Cashel linen. I'm pretty sure it's Cashel. I don't think it would be anything else. Gray. Right, love it, but it just looks a little wonky. The stitches, if you look really close, are just a little bit wonky, and I don't know. Like, I don't want to have to watch it that hard, you know, to make sure I don't screw up the stitches. This is the potted version of it rather than the framed version. This is just on Charles Craft Ada. I really like it because I like that I get to pick the colors. So I just picked like a handful of colors and I just kind of arrange them as I see fit. These are all caught up. I just finished this week's release for both of these earlier today. So those are all caught up. They're weekly, so but they don't take very long. I mean, honestly, I can do both the potted version and the framed version in 2 hours tops, depending on how complicated it is. And then this is, I want to say the company is called Quarterion, something like that. I'll put it in my thing. This is the Wanderer style. This is actually the second Wanderer style. Ooh, it's upside down. And this bitch is big, as you can see. It is all up to date. She releases one of these little cities a month. This most recent one was Mexico City, which is really pretty. I like it a lot. It is mostly black work, but there are some cross-stitch elements. Like, she uses a lot of cross-stitch in buildings and like mountains and such like that. I did the first one. The first one was a lot of fun, but I actually did it on a smaller count, and so the fabric size was smaller. And then I went to go do this on the same fabric and fucked it up. So it's not. I cuss a lot. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Quarterion from Etsy. Quarterion, something like that. It's also really cool because it's a very limited color palette because it's really mostly black. So she just uses it a little bit for like flags and buildings and such like that. All caught up. She releases it monthly, so I'm caught up until that, right? So that's all of what I've got going. Again, mostly... What is that? Oh, okay. Sorry. Mostly it is Sal's, right? So, and most of them are caught up, so I don't feel too silly. As far as like planned starts, I have a number of Witch's Garden craft styles to start / finish. For instance, I started the Dark Goddesses last year and fucked it up. So I didn't fuck it up. I did it on black and I didn't like the way it looked on black. I thought it was way too dark, and so some of the back stitching just didn't look good. So instead I went and bought... Where did I put you? So instead I went and bought the fabric that she dyed for it. So there's also, she just started the Light Goddesses. So I want to say Light Goddesses is on the lighter fabric, as you would think. And then this is for the Dark Goddesses. So I will be doing the Dark Goddesses and then hopefully catching up on the Light Goddesses. I'm pretty far behind, I'm not gonna lie to you. So pretty far behind. But these are the fabrics for them. So that's a planned stitch. Once I have time. Once I have time. I also have all of the tarot stitches that she's done. So 2 of them have already been completed. Where did you go? 2 of them have already been completed. And then she just started swords rather. I don't know why I just said that weird. Swords, which I think no, I have an extra fabric. Ah, here we go. It's a grimoire. So I have the fabrics for all of them. I have the patterns for all of them. I'm hoping to get started on swords so that it's not super far behind because it just started this week. And then do, I think it's cups and then the major arcana at some point in time. We'll see. And then lastly but not least, and this is also sort of haul if you want to call it, I'll talk about it, or as I talked about with the Mirabilia, like I wasn't super interested in fancy ladies because I'm not a fancy lady, nor would I be one. But Autumn Stitchery has the like dark goddesses or dark queens rather styles, and that's my kind of fancy lady. It has all the different, like all the other parts of a fancy lady, like fancy fabrics. Well, fancy fabrics, sure, but specialty threads, beads, all that kind of stuff. But she's a little bit more rock and roll, so I like it. But I was also bemoaning internally, not to anyone, that I didn't have a local needle workshop, only to find out as I was driving my way to work one day, that I do have a local needle workshop, and it's on my way to work. It's called Under the Sea Fabrics, rather. And stopped by, well, I placed an order and then stopped by to pick it up, but they're all really sweet. The shop has just people come, like they have like an open shop table so that people can come and stitch, which I'll probably start doing this next week. I'm pretty excited. I think it's fun to be able to see that there's other people like me who stitch, that it's not, that I'm not kind of an anomaly in the stitching world, which has been really helpful to see. But I got the stuff for Dark Goddess, or Dark Queen's style. Sorry for the crinkle. I'm not going to take them out of the fabric because I don't want them to get like messed up. So this is the fabric for Dark Queen of the Seas, and this is the fabric for Dark Queen of the Earth. So this one was the most recent style that Autumn Stitchery did. So the pattern for this is still available on the website, but this one hasn't been re-released yet. So they retire them for a little bit and then they re-release them. So once this one's re-released, I'll buy that one up as well. This one I have the pattern for and all the stuff for it. And one of the great things that Under the Sea does is you can get like the specialty floss packs, and then you can get nope, that's not it. This is it. Beading packs. So everything's ready for that. That's probably, I'll be talking about this in just a second, but that's probably going to be my my Stitchy Sirens Retreat project to start on. There's also, it'll be my, like, I'll do a first video on it as well, because there's going to be, like, some color conversion stuff, which I've never done before. Not consciously, anyways, so I'll do that as well. On that note, Stitching Sirens Retreat, which is hosted by Under the Sea Fabrics, is in June, and it'll be my first stitching retreat, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's like 15 minutes from my house, which is nice as well, because the other one that I saw was Waco, and one, I don't particularly like Waco, which you'll hear a lot of people from San Antonio say, I'm sure, but I don't really like Waco, and I also don't want to have to drive out there or get into a hotel there, because if I don't have to, right? So when I was talking to Leslie, the shop owner over at Under the Sea Fabrics, she like told me, obviously, and gave me the little card with the QR code on it. And so that'll be my first stitching retreat. I'm pretty excited about that as well. Other little bits of haul. I get little stuff all the time, but these are, I think these are the Silk and Colors. Sorry. Yeah, these are Silk and Colors. So I needed Silk and Colors for one of the, I forget which project it was for. I must have put it in the packet. I bought one, I think it was for the Chatelaine, so the Chatelaine probably has it in there. But I had to buy one skein, sorry, it wasn't working for me. One skein, and I'm not going to pay shipping if I don't have to, so I went ahead and bought some others. I bought kind of like an assortment of darks and grays, just to kind of test out. And so I'll do a first video on this as well, the first time I use silks, which will actually probably be the first time I use silks for, oh girl, what's her name? Cathedral Woods Goddess. There you go. So when I use the Karen water lilies, I'll do one, but I'll also do one for the silken colors. They feel beautiful. They really do. I might be ruining myself for old DMC, but you know, they're real pretty. And then I bought some sampler threads by Gentle Art. And I also have, I thought I had, I'll have to find them. But I also have some Classic Colorworks, and I bought some NPI silks as well from 123 Stitch, partially for a pattern, which is probably where it is, but I didn't think it's in here. This is my Chatelaine. This will be my next kind of new pattern to try when I'm done with Old Girl. But yeah, I bought some NPI silks. But I bought some Classic Colorworks as well, but I guess I have not. Those are more NPIs. I bought the bead pack from European Cross Stitch, because you can't get the bead pack for this from 123 Stitch, as far as I was able to find. I think it's because it uses a different brand of bead. They're delicas rather than no hills. But that's okay. Maybe I just told myself I was going to buy it and I haven't bought it yet. I don't know. So that's kind of what haul is for me. I bought a zombie eye pin cushion. And fun fact, I love fun pins. These are mostly from My Big Toe Designs. And then the pin cushion is from Schmaltzy Crafts. If you can see it, it's backwards, but it's okay. Schmaltzy Crafts. I'll have it in my description. But while I was waiting for this, because this is hand felted and handmade, and so it took some time, obviously, which makes sense. But I got impatient. This is probably the only fully finished item you'll see from me, because I really don't finish much. I finish them and then put them away for finishing another, or for like framing another day. But this is the only FFO you'll probably ever see from me, or see from me consistently. This is a pattern. I'll link the shop in here. I want to say it's called like Graveyard Fancies or Graveyard Pretties or something like that. Problem though is that I didn't read. I got impatient and didn't read the thread count, and so clearly, this is a giant ass this cornu. It's so. I mean, like, it's the size of my head. It's huge, but you know, not necessarily the most accessible pin cushion, but it's pretty, and so it'll sit in my background. It's also filled with polyfill beads and lavender, so it smells really nice. So it makes my stitching corner nice and smelly good. And it's well made. Like, it's not bad. I just couldn't get the shape isn't quite right, because there's no way that I was going to get my needle through all that. So it is what it is. I don't know. It's cute. It's just massive. It took the entire bag of polyfill beads, which is part of that too. Like, it was huge. So I did haul. I did work in progresses. I did planned starts. Talked about Flosstube channels I've been watching. I'll do that more as I go. Again, I tend to watch one thing and then, you know, go on to someone else after I've watched all their videos. Fun, or like Etsy shops I really like. Witch's Garden Crafts is one of my favorites. My Big Toe Designs is where I get a lot of my little notions and such. And it'll be part of my, like, we're doing like a mystery box gift for that Stitchy retreat. And so a lot of some of the stuff that I'm buying for that are going to be in here. Or from My Big Toe Designs. Plus they're from Texas, so they're really quick. Like, I've never waited more than a week to get stuff from her. Which is really nice. And so that, I thought I had it up here. I am a big fan. It's actually in my pocket, because you've got to keep them warm. This is the thread conditioner I use. This is from Craftigurumi on Etsy. This one is called Lembos rather. So it's based off the bread that you hear about in Lord of the Rings. It smells really good. I know that some people tell you that you should only use beeswax. I know that Some threads don't react well with this, and that's okay. I'll do some experimenting, but I use this for most everything. I tend to primarily use DMC, of course, and so for me, DMC, this helps it tangle less, this helps it fray less. I tend to keep my stitches really neat, so I don't always have to use a laying tool if I don't want to. But that's one of them that I use a lot. This smells really good. I also really liked her apple cider smell. It was like fall. It was really good. And then her like mystical woods or something to that effect also smells really good as well. And there's like a prancing pony. That smells really good as well. But that's Craftigurumi on Etsy. And then I buy my needles. I tend to use John James Petites. And I buy them in bulk from Sassy 2 Stitch on Etsy. And so that tends to be my favorite shop for like little like stitching tools. Like I got a couple up here. I got my itsy bitsy little snips from her. This is my Takaburi or Takaburi. This is my Takaburi laying tool. Itsy bitsy teeny tiny stiletto. It's hard to see, but there you go. This is my Stitcher's Friend, I think is what they're called, Stitcher's Best Friend. And what it is it's a little, like almost, real YouTuber now, mom, real YouTuber now. It's like a little almost seam ripper on one end, and then this kind of hooked needle on the other. And I like this because it's what I use to frog generally. And then I also like this, I forget what it's called, but it has like a little hook sort of at the end, so I use this when I'm having a hard time winding, like weaving in ends, so it's good for that. And I don't think I got this from Sassy to Stitch, but this is my trolley needle. I don't tend to wear it on this hand, but it's my trolley needle. I told you guys earlier that I tend to stitch in hand, so if I'm going to use a laying tool because I want things to be extra neat, then I use my trolley needle more often than not. I will do one, if you ever want me to, where I show you how to use it with stitching in hand. I tend to put it on my thumb, and I tend to do this, if you will. Those are some of my favorite little things. These are mostly from Sassy to Stitch. I have this little cart, my little stitchy cart, and it has this magnet plate where I put a lot of these little tools so I can find them. Other things, other Etsy shops. Etsy is really what got me into Flosstube, to be honest, and so there's a lot of Etsy shops I've bought stuff from, bought patterns from, bought items from, but those tend to be my favorite. The ones I tend to spend a lot of money at or shop at often. I think that's about it. I've done FFOs, FFO. Oh shit, it's huge. That's what that should stand for. I have done works in progress. I have done future plans, right? And I talked a little bit about why I'm in the community. So I'm really excited to be able to kind of enjoy talking and discussing something that I've been doing for a really long time and just didn't know that there was a community that would actually be helpful, or not helpful, a community that was actually be like this accessible is probably more correct. Every other week I will do a Flosstube, and on the opposite weeks this is when I'm planning on doing those firsts. They may not be super long, those firsts, just because they'll be kind of starting chunk type things where I'm talking about a specific topic. And that's about it. I'll let you go. Holler if you need me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!